folks, welcome back to the lab. Well, I think we got something special here. I don't know about how well this is going to turn out. It's hard to tell in the condition it's in, but I do believe here we have an SG&L tubular LW lift wire. Yeah. This could be quite old. You can't really see it, but it says tubular. Let me see. I'm going to do my light. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I just went and picked this up with a couple other lanterns. Yeah, you'll see those down the road at some point. So, out of all the ones I picked up, this one is actually in some of the best shape. And, this red paint. Looking at the globs. Look at the globs. Look at the globs of paint. Keepers. Globs of paint. And I was wondering what that was. I'm like, what is that? Is that solder? No, it's glob of paint. And let's hope that those globs kept things relatively clean here. So this paint is going to come off. I'm sorry. And I can't get anything to move. I tried this, and that's about all. Oh, well, yeah. I haven't tried taking this apart or nothing, but I did try this in the car, and it just seemed all frozen up there. Oh, yeah, you can see, yeah, some of the paint. Okay. I think this might not be that bad. And I was really bummed when I picked it up, thinking, oh, crap, filler neck's gone. But look at that. Yeah, it's got threads there. So it doesn't have a filler neck. So I just got to find probably a brass cap. Fits right on there. I wonder if I have something. I know I don't have any tiny brass extras. But, yeah, it's one right over there. Look at that. All right, well, no, I'm not going to do that. All right, so let's get the globe out of this thing and look it over and look at the burner and everything here. And then it is to the lab kitchen for paint removal. All right, let's check it out. All right, so let's see. Unfortunately, none of the lanterns I grabbed today have marked globes. All right. Mark corrector. Let's put it that way. Now, oh boy. That's worrisome. I don't think we're gonna. Well, this is not something that you replace all that easy, so I'm gonna have to be real careful. Yeah, have to be real careful with that. All right, let's see. Can we get this to go up any? Because I want to get that burner out of there. There we go. That's encouraging. That's full of nests up in there. Let's take a peek. Oh, yeah. All kinds of carcasses in there. Let's see. We go hook some of them and get them out of there. Yeah, that was a cocoon. Okay. All right. So. Oh, that's brass. That's great. Ooh. That is brass as well. That's pretty shot. And that is because this thing has had an open fount with that filler cap being gone. I'll clean this up. You can see that's all rust dust that had just rusty water had probably gotten wet and dried in here. And that's what's happened. Oof. Oh boy. Yeah. Wow. Once I clean this, there's not going to be a whole lot of fount left on the bottom. We're going to lose a lot of that cleaning it up. But it's got to be cleaned up, man. I think, you know, yeah, repair on that. And hopefully, I mean, obviously this mechanism's not coming off because of how it's on there. It's going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting fight with this thing. There's some dents here that I don't need to touch, I don't think. They add some character to it. Trying to see anything written on there. Usually you'd see like S.G No or something. I can't see anything. We'll see after we get the paint off, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing on there. Okay. That's brass. We'll get some paint remover off that. All right, so while it's here, I might as well just take a peek, because I am curious. So the question is, how am I going to want to attack that? When I want to cut out a thing of tin, put it around there, and oh boy. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see when we get there, because that could end up needing to be completely replaced. Yeah, I'll rinse it out too, because I'm sure these air tubes got all kinds of air tubiness going on. All right, so we're gonna try. Oh man, wow, that is rough. That is rough, man. That is rough. I'd like to say I've seen worse because parts are missing, but I just got to be careful of just how powerful a tool I use to work on it. I want to try to keep this completely intact. There's some cracks there. All right. Well, this is going to be interesting, man. This may actually be the oldest thing I've had here. This could be, man, this could be 1880s, early 1890s. Wow. Okay. So yeah, we'll be careful. We'll be careful. All right, we're back from the paint removal. Well, at least from what we can get off of it. Did pretty good, I gotta say. And you know what? And I think there may be hope for this. I mean, I haven't even taken the grinder to that yet. That's probably going to grow pretty big, that hole. And you know, you can't ignore it. You can't. So now I'm going to hit the bench grinder very mildly. Clean stuff up. By the way, so I went and rattled the chain around. All right, so yeah, I rolled this around in a tank a little bit. Of course, it constantly kept coming out the hole there, but because I had noticed when I was putting remover on it that it was a hunk. This isn't the hunk of wick was stuck to the bottom. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking from, you know, probably decades of water getting in this hole and just settling there, and shit just rusted to it. So I found parts, and so you saw this when I took it out of the burner. I went to clean it. I was hoping to reuse it, but as you could see, as I was cleaning it, it was just disintegrating. So, yeah, we'll find another vintage one. I'm sure we'll find something to throw in there. And I did just quickly worked on the burner, and the cone, and it did, yeah. I mean, it's obviously brass, and there's real good crack there, real good crack there, and that's brass for you. But yeah, I wasn't going to put a polish on it. I just kind of want to give it a little bit of brassiness showing there, because this thing's going to be pretty rustic. Pardon my French. Okay. Oh, and also that was down in the tank was this little hunk of cork. I hadn't tried to put it in the hole here to see if, you know, how tight that fit might have been, where somebody had accidentally pushed it down in too far. Yeah. Yeah, well, that gives me an idea of, boy, maybe, you know what? I'm going to hit a flea market tomorrow morning, and I'll look for some old medicine bottles, got little corks like that. Better yet, some kind of like junker lantern that has one on it, right? Okay, so best I can do now is go to the bench grinder and see what we have here. And yeah, the part that's concerning me is this glow plate, and that it just purely because, I mean, I'm probably going to ignore a lot of this in here. I may go very lightly with a Dremel, this part in here, because things are all still connected, and they should not, from this point on, get any worse. So that's why I wanted to just kind of stay the way it is, right there. Not, well, I'll explain as I go. But, yeah, boy. Air tubes look real nice. This may turn out to be really nice, except for the bottom. And I've had a lot. I've had a lot of really nice lanterns with shitty bottoms. That's just the way it is. They're just stored in the wrong spot for a long period of time. Okay, so here we go. Let's get it cleaned up, and I'll be right back. Well, okay, for the most part, this is looking pretty nice, man. The tank, yeah, boy, yeah. I'm a little worried about cutting out the old one, because I don't have enough cutting tools for the Dremel. I don't have anything else that I could cut that with. I mean, I got jigsaws and stuff, but that, yeah, no way. Maybe I'll just put something over that. I don't know, man. Oh, boy. I'm trying to think of where I could do it. Maybe inside this rim here. I mean, everything's on the inside of that. Oh, man. Boy, oh, boy. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm going to use a fresh junk bit for this beauty here, because it's a lot milder than one that's already beat up. So I want to get at this here and some other spots. All right, so let's do this. Let's clean this baby up. Like I said, I'm trying real hard to keep from hurting that any more than it already is. So, okay, let's get at it. A fresh junk bit should only be matched by a fresh pointy bit. So as you can see, I don't know how long I was doing that for. I don't know, 20 minutes or so, but that's what you see. Yeah, I thought I'd be further along than that, but I've been going really, really super light on this because it's very fragile and very old. So now I'm going to go to a new junk bit, or broom bit, as they are called. Yeah. Okay. This is looking pretty nice, but I'll tell you what, it's looking more and more like we got to cut the bottom out, or at least replace it, or cover it, or something. All right, let's get it at it. Right, so pointy bit down. We may come back to that. I may want to keep that nearby. Now, maybe I'll use this thing that I had. It's funny. I had. Will that do it? Will that do what I want it to do? Let me see. Will I queued up one do better? I need to get in between these wires. On the outside, I may need to use a small one, but this one here, these are the super duper cheap ones that I had gotten a long time ago, and I stopped using them because all the little hairs were flying off and sticking in my body. But the other day, I ran out of the regular wheels like that. So I used it, and I was enjoying it. So I think maybe my methods have changed using these, and I think I could probably use them to my advantage more now, rather than them just flying apart. I think I had RPMs too high and other things. So, all right, so I'm going to do some wiry thing here. I won't be long with this thing. All right, so let me put on my 4.0s and take a peek. Yeah, it is a tubular number 0, obviously. Yeah, we got patent numbers going 72, 71, 71. And then it just kind of goes blurry, but there's a lot of them. Wow. So before I see 71, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 previous patents before that. Neat. All right, so I'm gonna go real quick to a 320 for a couple of spots on here that were pretty heavy when we started. So we're gonna go 320, and then we'll go back at it with the 800. All right. Okay, so let's put some steel wool on this thing, and basically what I'm doing here is just continuing what I would do if I were not having to deal with the bottom. I'm just doing some steel wooling to finish up every other part of it before I dedicate my brain to thinking of what to do about the bottom. I may actually probably going to sleep on it. And also tomorrow morning is, yeah, so I go on flea market in the morning, and who knows, I may find something with a bottom. Or, you know, something made of tin. I actually have something right here. I have this. This was a dish for making desserts with an insert here, you know, so because it's usually something like a flan or something very heavy. And you pick it up through the bottom here to serve it. I was going to throw this out with all my crap from the dump, but this is a fine piece of steel, nice and thick. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's already cut. Let's see what. Oh, so close. Okay, so there is that. What does that say on it? Oh, made in France. Ooh, fancy. Okay. So, I'm trying not to drag the steel wool across that busted area of globe plate. I can't believe the shape that these air tubes are in. It's really something. I mean, this is really pretty remarkable, the shape a lot of this thing is in. I knew I was going to start doing something, so I grabbed a tool, a much needed tool at flea market this morning, and measured out myself a bottom out of this French steel. That was a baking dish, still is a baking dish at this moment. But right now I have stuff on the grill. I got chicken wings on the grill, So I'm gonna play with tin snips with this baby while they finish up their barbecuing. And yeah, that's what we'll do now. Well, I got a minute. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so I've been talking through this whole thing here, tin snipping this and explaining things and how I did it and all that. And yeah, I wasn't recording. Yeah. All right, so we've gotten close, as you can see from the little holes there. And I'm gonna slowly kind of go closer to that line that I etched in there, because I don't know nothing about math and protractors and crap. So we're gonna see. I mean, I'm contemplating maybe leaving this in while I put this in. I've yet to figure out what method I'm going to use to secure this. Oh boy! So what my preliminary thing is to leave this outer lip here and use that. I'm hoping that I made this big enough to go to the outside of that. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. So I don't know, solder. So anyway, so the I got an idea from a video. A guy had tinning flux, which he said aided very much in getting these metals to accept solder. So this is what I want to try, maybe for this. And he also said in the same video, same dude uses a torch like this, and he says this almost barely puts out enough heat in order to make the metal hot enough for the solder to bond to whatever surface. So maybe what I've been doing is not giving enough heat. Maybe that's why I'm having a lot of problem getting solder to stick. So that'll be a new thing. All right, so I'm gonna go now and have my dinner. And oh, by the way, so I got a neat little addition. I picked up a bunch of old tools today. Yeah, I have this here is my new mount. This was off an old cell phone mount for a car. It's really, really tight, meant for smaller phones. So it grips on, it doesn't let go. Anyway, I grabbed this little vise I needed. I was looking for a tabletop anvil that I could just use here. But I did find this little vise, and it's got a little flat area. And I had to chisel out some area down here to get it to work because this thing is an old picnic bench, which is my shop bench here. But, you know, as far as an anvil, I got last week at the flea market. It's got a big old, it was $1. It was a sledgehammer head. So this is a nice hard surface for me to put here in front of me and do what I need to do, you know, banging on stuff without wrecking my cutting board or anything else. And really the only other thing I got is another vise that's over here, a larger one. It's just way out of the way. And it's just very inconvenient. So that's why we got a little vise there. And we have my sledgehammer anvil. I'm contemplating maybe making like a little, if I find a nice heavy piece of metal, that I can like JB weld this just so it sits level and have something that I can clamp down. So I have a good stationary surface to do stuff on. So something clampable. I got plenty of clamps. I got clamps everywhere. So that's an idea. Because boy, now that I'm looking at it, yeah, see, I would want to do it here, but that's why I would need to do that, because this direction's like that. This direction here has got all these like little things going on. Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, I'm gonna go have my dinner, and I'm still contemplating about what I want to do here with the bottom. So, all right, that's it for now. All right. So we are back, and I'm gonna continue to. I gotta put my. I normally wear like a 150 or 175 reader, pretty much for you know, all the time. But for this application, I am wearing 275s to help me see what's going on here at this distance, like, you know, arm's length kind of thing. All right, so I'm going to continue to slowly shrink this billet, or what do you want to call it? But, you know, because like I said, I don't want to have to go cut a whole other one out here. I'm trying to do this piece by piece because I don't trust my measurement. But I was very happy, man. I went to the flea market to with a list of a couple things that I needed, some little tools for. I always looking for soft tip hammers. Didn't see one, but I wasn't heartbroken because I got a couple here. But what I wanted was a small tabletop anvil for working on stuff. But I showed you what I got down here. This little vise with a little flat thing on it. And also last week I had picked up, you saw the sledgehammer head. Yep. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're making progress. Not sure if you can still see that outline. Very close to the edge there. So this is some nice thick tin here, by the way. All right. So I'm going to take a look here and see how we're doing. Yeah. Don't mind my tanned kneecaps and white legs. Ooh, boy, that's really close to where I want it. Okay. I'm just going to trim up this one end here that looks a little fat. And then, I'm liking that because I have, looks like I got this little lip here to kind of work off of. All right, so I got to make sure I clean these up, or at least not come in here in bare feet. I pretty much learned that last winter, though, not to come in here in bare feet because of these cheapo Dremel bits putting metal fibers in my legs and my feet. All right, so boy, that's what I want right there. Now, my question is getting it to stick. How are we going to get it to stick? So, we got this tinning flux. I may want to do some serious scoring here on the outside. And then with this tinning flux, see how that does. And we'll take it from there. So if this will tin nicely because of this, I think I'm going to have to tin this as well. So that means we're going to have to do some serious grindage right on the outside of this secondary rim here. See about having something, some solder to bond to. All right, so let me see here. Hold on. Okay, so now we need as rough as we can get. At least that's what I want. That's shot, but I'm saving it anyway because I'm almost out. Okay, so this is a sanding bit for wood. That's okay. It'll be nice and nasty for this here. Now, because I have my outline there, I'm going to do it on this side. Because I don't want to lose that template in case I need to do some trimming. And I want to be able to have a guide there to keep things round. All right, so let's do some scoring here. All right, so at the same time, I also have this kind of serrated edge there. And don't necessarily want to smooth that out at this point. It might be good to have that for bite. Now, okay, so we'll leave this on there for now in case I'm going to start scoring the lantern itself. Now, let's play. Let's see. Got some solder flux. Now, the guy in this video, he had applied this tinning flux and then applied a shit ton of heat to it, where I guess it kind of left the tin behind and you can see it. So I'm gonna see about that. I'm gonna start a new flux brush. I got some new ones somewhere. There we go. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Now, also, let's see. What method are we going to use here? We're going to use big, huge, industrial. I'm putting some just dirty Scotch tape on here to mark this because I'm not going to go tooling around here looking for tape with this. So I'll know that one of this dirty masking tape or Scotch tape on there is the one for the silver tinning. All right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint a portion of this, like maybe a quarter of it. Oh, this is kind of like a higher end flux brush than my Ace Hardware cheap ones. Super soft. That's okay. We're over applying. That's probably a good idea for me. All right. So now I am going to apply some heat here. Now it's going to be interesting to me because I'm thinking this rock could be wicking away heat. So, but we'll see what happens here. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Hard to tell what happened there. Well, it looks like it's got something there up in the... Best we can do is test it with a little solder, see what happens. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut a little chunk, place it on there, and I'm gonna heat it up, and we'll see what happens, whether it balls up or if it pools. Ah, look at that! Beautiful. It immediately pooled up. This is excellent news for me because I needed a savior for me getting solder to stick to stuff. All right, that is excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so now we know that that works. Now I'm probably going to want to do some scoring on the lantern. Oh boy, this worries me because this is such an old lantern. I'm going to look it over here for a minute and I'll be back. Okay, now I'm going to try a little scoring here. Uh-oh, what did I do? There we go. So, yep, don't worry about, hey look, these are my swim trunks, flowers and skulls. I was at the lake today, so swim trunks, all right? Don't freak out. This is a family channel. So what I'm going to try to do is come around here on this this lip. So by the way, as you can see, I have my grid system holding, this is the best way I could think of to do it, unless I come up with some kind of table with different size, fountain size holes to fit stuff in. Anyway, all right, let's see what we can do here. All right, fingers crossed, folks. Actually, I'm going to double up on my glasses just to be sure. A little extra lighting. All right. All right. Okay, so my vision is to place this on there where, yeah, the lip and lip. Okay, good. I want to make sure. All right, so I'm going to score both sides of this now. This plate here. I'm going to get rid of these lines. I think we have it where we want it. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and score that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I am going to, let's make sure we do everything. Everything right here. Going to acetone both sides. So I'm going to put some tinning flux on both sides of this and on the lantern because I haven't figured out whether I'm going to just want to have solder seep in underneath, like underneath, sucked in underneath and all the way around, or do I want to kind of fill it in, you know, with a handheld soldering iron? Yeah, I don't know. So we're going to take it as we go here. I'm just making sure both scenarios are possible here. So I'm going to paint around both sides. A lot of warnings about this stuff being it'll burn the skin. And silly me, I don't have Teflon hands anymore, being out of the restaurant biz for a couple of years. I mean, I was almost to the point where I could like grab eggs out of boiling water. It was pretty crazy. But I have since grown back nerve endings, the hairs on my knuckles and arms. I mean, it had been decades since I have seen hair on my hands or knuckles. Pretty crazy. Okay, there is that. We're going to need this flux to do the lantern portion. Okay, let's apply some heat. Yeah, look at that. Look at that solder. Just follow that. Oh, that's so cool. Why don't I do that while I'm here? Let's see if I can lay down some. Well, look at that. Look what we got, folks. We got a tinned bottom. So we have solder applied. We're halfway there. We are halfway there. And we know what we just got to do is get solder to attach to the rusty bottom. All right, so not exactly sure where I'm going to go here. Upside down, this way up, and fill in along the sides. Maybe both. This is all covered in fluxy grossness. That's okay. I don't care about that part. All right, and this is all tinned. Okay. Now, to bring the lantern over and apply some tinning flux to the bottom. Right. All right, here we are. So, and if I get out of frame here, I do apologize, because I am trying to look around my phone. My face is kind of in front of it right now. So, all right, now, let me do a little ass toning, because this is dirty. This is deer tape. By the way, ooh, right down my bare leg. Hello. Yeah. Fresh container of acetone. Acetone. So you're probably wondering, is he leaving that bottom in there? Yeah, I am. But we've stopped forever the rusting process by restoring this and trying to put it into a condition where people do not want to put it outside where it will sit and rust. So it's kind of got a double duty. Also has, if I completely fuck this up, I can maybe make a little patch for that and then patch these little things in some other way. So that's why we're at that stage. Okay, so acetone's all dried up. So now the way they did it Well, they did it at the factory. Of course, I can't speak for this factory because this may have been made in the 1880's. They probably used big, fat, like, you know, lead-headed, not lead-headed, that would be silly, but big, fat metal soldering irons that they had, like, they kept in coal, hot coals, and then pull it out and then do their soldering. And I do have a big, fat, industrial size handheld electric soldering iron. And I'm wondering if we get this properly tinned, maybe I can run it down the edge and do it this way. I would love it if that worked out, because then that will have taught me a new thing that I've observed done on many occasions. It's never been able to do myself. All right, so make sure we're all the way around so we have a complete seal on things. Well, you can see where I'm going with this. I'm assuming you can see that either I want to put the plate down and lay solder in on the outside of that bead, heat it up and let it suck underneath, and solder from the bottom. Or we'll set it on there and then run solder all the way around the outside of the plate and kind of like bond it to the outside here of the bottom of the lantern. Actually, that reminds me, maybe I should go up a little higher. Why not? But this is some pretty distressed metal. Okay. Boy, oh boy. We're doing some fun stuff here, folks. Couple of firsts here for me. And sure enough, I'm like a 150-year-old freaking lantern. That was my first one for replacing a bottom. I'm not actually replacing it. Am I? Is this technically replacing it? I don't know. All right, so let's do this up. Get this nice and hot. Oh, okay. Just killed the torch. Okay, let me fill up the torch, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we got I don't know why I'm wiping it off. Am I wiping it off? I don't know. But I think it's where we need it to be. There. Now. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think now I'll dig out. Where is that big boy? Where are you, big boy? There it is. Look at that thing. This will take some time to heat up. And I'll put it on my piece of stone there so it doesn't burn anything. Burn the place down. All right, let me give that time to warm up, and we'll be back. Okay, now let's do some placement here. And I just thought of something that I remember from watching one of my favorite YouTube channels, Fab Rats. Paul Cox, the mechanics got these very cool magnets made for holding stuff for him. Even like switchable magnets that are like upside down on a table. What a great idea. Anyway, I got these little rare earth magnet beads. I'm going to see. I'm going to put it in some areas just so I don't knock it like while in the middle of doing things. Okay, so I'll start here. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. How great is that? All right. So you can see maybe what I'm thinking of here. I want to be able to see a little bit of that silver I etched away everywhere, all the way around. I think we have achieved that. And the underside of this part has already been tinned and coated with solder. So technically, maybe, well, no, I wouldn't be able to do that because there's nothing for it to grab on. Anyway, so what I'm also thinking is something else I learned in another video, which I think we may have tried it in one of my others already. Just to lay down. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, when I did the ham dash. So I did a thing like this, kind of laid it down in there, and then heated it up, and then just kind of let it fall into where it needs to go. We could try that. See what happens there. Let's try that. I don't know how well it's going to work. It may actually just go pool outside because there is this, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, let's heat things up here. Let's see. All right, so let that cool for a minute, and then we will do a assessment. Hold on a minute. Well, I think we may have achieved our goal here. So now, lots of crazy flux to clean up here. So I would think that the tinning I did underneath there has bonded. All right, I think I can safely unplug this big soldering iron. And I'm removing as much flux as I can because flux is made to etch the metal. We want the etching to stop at this point. All right, by Jove, folks, I think we've done it. Now, next is going to be working on the rest of the tank. We have some other issues here. All right, let's do that. All right, so, boy, I don't know about these holes here. I don't know. I mean, I could try some tinning flux, but I think the solder's just going to fall right in. Maybe some of these little tiny ones, we can try that. So, all right, I need to do some rearranging here so this can be gotten at. All right, so maybe I'll just kind of go a little hole by hole here. I don't think this is going to work, but hey, who knows? Maybe this tinning flux is going to be like super cool. All right, there's no choice but to JB weld this thing. Yeah, these holes are just too massive for me to understand what to do, unless I made a giant belt of tin to put around there, and it's just, I don't think that's the right idea. I just don't. Obviously, this old relic will burn again. It just won't be as near perfect as remained as perfect as I wanted it to by doing the bottom and being able to do that, which was great. But, shit. All right. Hold on, I need to reassess all this stuff here. Hold on, I'll be back in a bit. Yeah, well, it is a sad truth that we're going to have to JB weld this thing. So I got this 320 grit. I'm going to run it around this rim here, clean things up, and we'll go on to the next method of stuff here. All right. Okay, now, and I will wipe on a little acetone all the way around. JB weld, it doesn't necessarily call for that, but we just want to make sure we get a good bond of things. Gonna need a lot of it here for these big holes. Little holes, it will let the seal all get the tiny ones, because I'm sure we'll miss some. But yeah, so we're gonna need a bunch of JB welded here. Luckily, most of it's kind of going to be on the back side, you know, if you would consider this the front where the filler cap is. Okay, so let me get the supplies out to mix up our JB welded. Oh, let's see, I'll get a little paper plate, and all right, be right back. I'm eating an apple. I'd rather eat nature's candy than real candy. Delicious Honey Crisp I just picked up today, fresh off the tree. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, you know what these are? These are little hors d'oeuvre plates. Cardboard made for like, you know, high-end catering, you know, like out in a tent somewhere, or out at a location where they don't have a kitchen, you know, for real plateware and things. Isn't that cute? Little hors d'oeuvre thing. Okay. There's J, and there's B. Where are you? There you are. Now, I'm notorious for mixing too much of this stuff, but it's inexpensive, so I'm not gonna get bummed about it, because it'll be just pain in the butt to make up more while you're needing to use it in a timely fashion. Yeah, we're not gonna need much of this at all. But I'm glad we didn't use this on the bottom. I would have just, you know, I feel good about what happened with the bottom. It's just too bad that all this other stuff just kind of showed up during cleaning. Had to be done. Okay, little equal bits of both. A little bit more of that. I haven't had to use this stuff in quite a while. All right, now that mixer up. Okay, so we can glob this on. I'm not bummed about that, because we can sand it down. It is sandable. Okay, let's see here. All right. Like I said, I can come back and sand that down. I'm not worried about that. So I can leave it as gloppy as I want. Normally I would like to try to somehow put an anchor behind this, like, you know, tin foil or something, but this is very small fount. I would have a hell of a time trying to do that. I'm going a little heavy on it, so it's fine that it protrudes to the inside because that's what we want. Yeah. See, silly old me is just going to want to keep going back and shaving off little bits of this stuff. I can't help it. I should just leave this alone. The seal all is going to fail before this stuff does, so that's why I'm seeing a couple of those little tiny holes. I'm just putting little globs on there. Well, this is unfortunate, folks. I'm a little bummed. But, I mean, considering when I went and picked these things up and I saw the condition, and I was like, no way this freaking lantern's ever going to work again. But here we are, man. I mean, this turned out to be a nice looking thing. Beautiful, actually. Just too bad about the... Oh, see, I fucked with it, and it just broke open a little hole there. God, dummy. Oh, I did it again. Put it on there and leave it, you dumbass. Okay. All right. I'm listening, Brad. Leave it. All right, so that means we got at least another couple days on this because this is going to have to dry, and then we have to seal the tank and let that sealing do its thing. And then we can treat it, and then we can assemble it, and then we can fire it up. I want to fire this thing up. After all this work, this thing deserves the firing up. All right, so while we are, well, we're waiting till tomorrow for that, but might as well work on other things here for a minute before I go. It is quite late. So I'm going to get in here, finish cleaning up this awesome vintage burner, and then I'll throw a wick in it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. We got plenty of vintage stuff in here. Nope. So that's a vintage one, but that's really... All right. This might work. This is quite a small fount, so we're not going to need a super long wick. There we go. No. Oh, this one did it too. Why? Let me look down in there and see if I'm missing something. Well, there's just a little copper oxide down in there. Let me get a fancy pipe cleaner down in there. Clean that up a bit. So these real pipe cleaners have like little specks of wire scrubby in them. You can hear the noise that they make. Yeah. So there's little metal scrubbies in there to help clean things out. Looks better already. And I think I think I'll pass it all the way through a little bit. Oh, I see. Well, this burner, so the burner, this number 0 burner, has got only 2 wheels in it. $100 zillion-year-old burner. That is in perfect shape. All right, so that's ready to go. Bada boom. This is that's ready to go. So this will turn to stone by tomorrow, and I'll sand it down. And luckily, when this cleans up, it's gonna kind of match. So it's I'd be really bummed if this was like a super pristine lantern, of like tin, fresh tin, or some kind of weird shit like that. But yeah, I've worked at a couple that had serious problems, and I was able to sand it down enough where, I mean, if you were looking for it, you'd almost miss it. So we might be all right there. And here I am looking around for specks of black paint, and I've already seen a couple. I can't help it. Oh, God. Yep. I can't help myself. All right, that looks better. All right, folks. Well, that is going to do it for tonight. It is. Oh, wow. And it's late. Okay. So at least I don't have to sit there and stay up all night worrying, what am I going to do with the bottom? What am I going to do? The bottom's done. That is done. JB Welded's done. I don't have to make a decision on that. This decision has been made, and it has been done. So tomorrow, or actually that will be like 5 seconds to view, but tomorrow what I will do is we will contour that, kind of make it look nice, and then we'll treat this. Then we'll assemble it, which means throw a burner in it and throw a cone on it. Throw some fluid in there, and boom. So, yeah. Actually, yeah. Well, we got to seal it. Yeah. So maybe if I seal it early enough, maybe by the end of the day, I will. It'll be ready enough. I can put it out in the sun, so make sure it dries faster. Yeah, it's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, so maybe that's what I'll do. First thing, yeah, I'll seal it. Okay, yeah. All right, folks, that's gonna do it for me. And tomorrow is gonna come up just like. Okay, so we are here the next morning. Everything looks hard as a rock here. Almost doesn't. You know what? I mean, it doesn't stand out too bad because of the rest of the craziness of this thing. Okay, so we're going to contour this stuff out. Oh, wait a minute. Feels like it's sticky, but it's been quite a few hours. Should be all right. All right. So what I'm going to try first, I'm going to try 320 grit to round off. There might be some horn-like things on here that I'm going to get. So maybe some high spots. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I will. I want one of these that's worn out. More worn out, let's just say. That's more worn out. Okay. So, I'm just going to ground down some heavy spots. This is going to be yeah, okay. All right, hold on a minute. All right. Yeah, that's a little harsh. That's a little harsh. I needed one of those that was just a bit more used up. Someday, it'll be all used up. All right, so let me try the 320 grit. I should slow it down, but I'm not going to have exactly the contouring effect of this because it's so soft. Let's see what it does. Oh, it just came back to me. Just came back to me what I used for this. It was the, yeah, it was these old wood flappy things. That's right. Much milder than that blocky thing we just tried. I forgot. It's been a while. So these are made for wood as well. These things are like little flaps of sandpaper put together. All right, let's try this. All right, so it's starting to look a lot more like it's part of this thing. Let me put a fresh one of these on here, and I think that will do it. I mean, I think really not a whole lot more to do, because the more material you take away, you're just going to take away the structural integrity of what you just did. So, all right. So we'll try to bring all this together, and then we will put some seal-all in it. All right, let's do that. Okay, I think what we can do now is do our final. Oh, you know what I want to do? That'll be fun to do. Actually, we'll do it after we. No, we don't have to do it after. Let's do it right now. What I want to do, make fun little cork. One little cork for this thing. So yesterday I went to flea markets and things, looking for a cork, a small like medicine bottle cork. Sorry, I'm eating my delicious, fresh Honeycrisp apple from said flea market yesterday. So, could not find a little medicine bottle cork. However, I got lucky because you know me and my dovetail boxes. So, bought this crappy thing. I had already, by the way, yesterday, cleaned this, polished this, and linseed oiled it. Isn't that great? This was $2. $2, little box. And what did I have in it? Corks. How about that? Pretty cool. So I don't even know what this thing was for. I mean, what do you put in here? Like ammo or something? A box like that? Little overkill going on here? I don't know. But whatever it was. Probably, you know what? Yeah, machine dyes or something like that. Some kind of heavy metal thing. But we're going to take one of these and we're going to fashion a cork. What kind of cork looks more vintagey? Some of these look artificial, or I shouldn't say artificial, but like cork, like all. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. All right, let's try that one. So, I like this one better. Cool. All right. So, we're obviously not going to need this whole thing. So I'm going to hack this in half and work from that. I've had to do this for a couple of other lanterns, and it's kind of fun. You know, you like your lantern to be complete, but hey, I've seen a lot of very cool corks in lanterns. Oh, there's an epic one, which will be an upcoming project. Let me show you this. You want to see an improvised filler cap? This one takes a cake. Look at that thing. That thing's stuck in there. Isn't that nuts? Yeah, I have nothing to touch this. Look at this. Look at this grand, beautiful thing found in the wild. Isn't that nuts? Yeah, this is going to be a very close upcoming project. Probably my next one. Isn't that crazy? I haven't touched it. That, I believe, by the way, is also a Rochester-made lantern. Made by Pritchard Strong. All right, so let's make us a little quirky corkness here. I'm not going to use that other one as motivation because that is pretty crazy. Just slowly edging away at it, making them more round each time and smaller. And then I can contour it with sandpaper and things. Where is that little cork? I showed you the cork. Oh, okay, this would be some good reference here. All right, so here's the cork that I found inside the fount. So I'll use that as kind of a little template for the bottom width. Okay, so there's what we found. There's that little thing. All right, let's see. All right, that's gonna work for me. Cool. Maybe we'll darken it, kind of fade it a little bit. All right, so okay. So, all right, let me clean up this mess and we'll come back to that and see if we want to age it somehow. All right, hold on a minute. All right, let's see if we want to age this a little bit. Well, with it becoming kind of like autumn-like around here, reminds me of finding corks as a kid around Halloween to paint your face with. And for football and such. Okay, there is our little aged cork. Boom! Right there. All right, so. What the hell am I doing? Yeah, so that was our little steel wool bucket. So we are pretty much all steel wool and everything, but I'm just doing, polishing up that little filler hole there a little bit. And then we will treat the tank. And I'll set it outside because it's a beautiful morning. Sun will be out. And I'll set it out there so it'll be dry by this evening. We will be able to, in theory, fire this baby up. Hopefully I have enough seal all to do this tank, but I think so. Considering we do have new orientation because there is an inner layer in here. Well, you know what I should do? For giggles is put a little date on the bottom. Yeah, sorry. All my engraving stuff is hiding on the bottom of all these larger tools. I know, I gotta go through those, but if I take one out and put it somewhere else, then I'll want it that very moment. So I'm just gonna put like BLG 2025 or something on the bottom. So someday, I don't know what's gonna happen with this thing, but it'll have a date of its good enough. Good. Well, that was a mess. I didn't know how that was going to act. All right. Now, let's treat the tank. Let's see here. I'm just using this clip to hold this up so it doesn't get in our way. Now, so I will put some seal all in here and I will manipulate it all around the tank here. You know, the things you learn in life about, you know, from one situation to help you in another. Well, this reminds me of many medical procedures. That's where I got the idea to keep seal all from getting all over the outside of my lantern. So there you go. So like a seal all is like under $6 for one of these tubes. And I mean, I can do, you know, probably a couple of small lanterns with this tube. I'm going to put the rest of this in there because, like I said, we do have this little cavity generated by me adding the bottom and not removing the old one. So we may have some extra area that we need to get into because, yeah. All right. I'm just going to blob all this in there. Now, there is a way that has people add a little bit of acetone to this to thin it out so it goes around the inside of the tank a little better. However, I have not had really good luck with that. All right, there. I'm leaving just a little bit inside this tube for other applications. The stuff dries clear and it dries kind of rubbery. Weird, but it is good for fuel tanks and such. Something mild like kerosene is just fine. All right, so let me do some manipulating. So that's what I'll do. I can keep an eye on there it is. Yeah, it's all clear. I wasn't waiting for it to move, but it was already there. All right, so let me do this for a little while. It's hard to see it moving when it's clear, but if you can find a bubble or two that's in it, then it'll help you watch it move. All right, this is the boring part, but like I said, we're going to manipulate it around and very soupy slow. You will see yourself when you go to pour it in your tank just how goopy the stuff is. Stuff is strong smelling. All right, I'll be back. I'll be back after we do some manipulation here. All right. So we have it all nicely manipulated. And now I'm going to go set it outside. And hopefully by this evening, it will be dry and we will fuel it up and test her out. Can't wait for that. I'll have to search around for a ham globe. I think I have. Not one, certainly not one. If I had one appropriate for this, it'd be worth more than probably most of my collection. Okay, so that's it. So we'll be back later today, and God willing, we will fire this thing up. And I'll put this in here so I don't lose that. Yeah, that's gonna look nice. Oh, there. All right, cool. All right, we'll be back later. Well, okay, we are back, and this has been baking in the sun all day, and it is all dry in there. So, really, next step for this is, of course, oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to look it over for little spots of red, and there's some here and there, but I'm just gonna tool around with a little pointy bit. Here, I need my little thing here to keep the top of this. Yeah, using this clip. And it's a non-evasive way of holding it up, not pinching anything weird. So still got the pointy bit on here, and I'm just gonna look around. I find little things purely because that's just, I don't know, that's me. Why would I want to leave red paint on there? I look back at some old lanterns that I've done that are up here on display, and I look at them now and I'm like, man, why did I leave so much paint? Did I just not care, not see it? I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know, but I can go tool around. I can see a little red paint here. There's a little bit there, and there's some in the middle of this thing, but I don't know how I'm going to get that out. I'm not going to mess with that because this is, this thing's incredibly old. All right, so let's, okay, let's do a little something here. Right, so, and I've pretty much already steel wooled this whole thing, so I think we're done with that. I think now we're gonna treat. Yeah, I worked in the shop. Did a lot of rearranging here in the shop. Nothing that you're really gonna see, here, but I try to make things a little more efficient for me here as far as grabbing stuff. Let's put some oil on this thing. I mean, can't wait. Obviously, the bottom is not needing a whole lot of that. But I am happy that I did that. I probably should have done it on a lantern that was not as old and not as valuable as this. But, oh, look at this. Yeah. Look at that color. And it just kind of helps that JB weld it just kind of blend in. So, and this oil is going to make some red paint areas. If there's any little tiny bits, it is going to make them pop out. I was prepared for that. All right, so let's, yeah, much like here, yeah, I can see little tiny bits, but that's okay. So I am putting oil on the glow plate, and I am putting it on the smoke bell. It will smoke a little, maybe even a lot, when I go to fire it up. It's okay. That is to be expected. But this is looking beauteous. Well, okay. Well, apparently, so I just updated the software on my phone about a half an hour before starting this video, and it just stopped recording on me. I don't know if it was that or me, but I don't know what happened there. But you didn't need to see all of me getting all the oil off this thing. All right, so we're putting the old burner back in. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. And like I said, this rising cone has, well, I'm sorry, this is not a rising cone, but this cone has got 2 big cracks in the brass here. So, not gonna manhandle that for sure. And we got our little cork here. Boom. And I have, where are you, globe? Oh, there's actually still a couple little hunks of red paint on there. Whew, boy, that's tight. That's tight. I wonder if this thing is supposed to get one that's a little shorter. And I do have a shorter one, but it seems to be working. Yeah, look at that. Look at that action. It's nothing to hold it up, but I freaking love that. Look at that. It's nice and beefy. Nice. Okay, so we are done. Now, we can fuel her up. Actually, I'm going to use my little clip here to hold this up so I can throw a little fuel in there. There we go. All right, now we get to see whether all this work all around this fount is indeed done its job. All right, so, man, how much did I put in there? That felt like a lot. Wow, I put way too much in there. It's a really small fount. I keep forgetting that it's just that little span right there. All right, let me put a little back in. All right, hold on a minute. I'm going to pour out a little of this. Hopefully in a manner that won't make a mess of things. In fact, I'm going to actually do it down here on the floor. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got some of it poured out. We got a nice little stopper in there. Very cool. Okay, so and I did check. It has properly wicked. So let's fire it up, folks. What do you say? Let's turn out some lights. There. So we had the light of Supervisor Baby back there. Oh. All right, so looks like I may want to do a little trim on that. Yeah, I want to fix that. Hold on a minute here. It's very loose, by the way, so I've got to be careful. Oop. I'm getting kerosene all over my cutting board, and that's okay. broken match and all. All right, let's try this again. All right. Well, it's still got a little hook there. That might have some, maybe there's something going on in this air tube on this side, because I did get a whole bunch of stuff out of there. But I am seeing no issues with any leakage, which is phenomenal. We just put a whole new bottom in this thing. Awesome. Yeah, I bet you there's a little air tube problem, but I'm liking it though. I mean, it's a number 0, and I'm thinking that I need a whole bunch more light, but I've been spoiled by a couple of real nice, very well burning number 2s, and this is just great though. Look at that. Built possibly in the 1880's, this sucker here. Throwing off some beautiful light. Kind of looks more like, you know, like a tie-dye kind of a light here. That's great. Loving it. Okay, I'll take this out with me and burn some stuff. I got some of the rearranging here. I had a couple old rickety wooden boxes. Don't worry, they were useless, nothing special. Pieced together wooden boxes, and I'm just going to burn some of them scraps. And yeah, so I'll take this outside, and we'll go burn some stuff. Sound like a plan, folks? All right, let's do it. Well, probably wondering what I'm doing here. I'm really curious as to why there's a horn on the flam there. So naturally, I can't let it go. So I'm getting the rest of the kerosene out of here, and I'm going to put some nuts down the air tube. Nice. I don't see any weeping or anything in the bottom, which I've been curious about. Awesome. So, oh geez, and I did completely miss. Oh boy. Yeah, this carpet has seen better days, I'll tell you. But I completely missed the funnel. Luckily, it wasn't a whole lot of kerosene. And every inch of this lab has seen kerosene in some form. Now, we'll put that to the side for a minute. So, too small for the chain. We're not going to do the chain bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some nuts up in the air tube and bring them down each side and see what's going on there. Want to make sure it's big enough to go down in there and heavy enough. Either I think that's too big. I might have trouble getting that out. So I'll do a bunch of these size. I had some ball bearings. That'd be cool. But these do have like jagged edges, which is good for maybe helping shake stuff loose. Much like something like that. It's got a little washer and lock washer on it. Okay. So let's try that. So I'm going to put them in here like this. They're going to go up and go in that one direction. All right, they're all out. So we know that that one's clear. And we'll just go down the other side. Let's see, how many we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Where's the other one? I heard it hit the floor. There it is. Normally, shit when it hits the floor around here, rolls to an impossible spot. I feel like I'm putting pennies in some kind of machine. All right, so we have confirmation that we have open air tubes, at least enough to let them nuts go through. So, hey. Now, let's start this crazy process over. We're not going to have to put a whole bunch more kerosene in because our wick is already impregnated. I recut that, by the way. It could also be the wick. I mean, like I said, I put an old vintage wick back in there. It could be the vintage wick. Man, I love that lift action. Just weird that there's nothing to hold it up. But like I said, it's incredibly old. What do you want, man? Probably in a future patent. Maybe even the next one. All right, let's do this again. Light, light, light. Light. Aziz, light. Oops. My bad. Interesting. Yeah, I bet you it's that. All right, well, that's better for sure. But still got that little horn. That's real weird. Very cool. All right, now we can head outside and burn some stuff. Let's do that. Yeah, here we go, man. S.G. No. Tubular number 0 from the possible 1880's. Out here lighting stuff up again as I start a little fire, burning old shelves and twigs from the yard. That's going to do it, man. That is going to do it for our video here. And boy, this was a multi-dayer, man, but I am so glad we got it working and able to hold fuel. It's more about it holding fuel than it is lighting it, because we know it's going to light. I could light a dog bowl full of Cheerios on fire, with just a bowl of kerosene and a match. So it's making it hold the kerosene that I'm finding important here. So, all right, loving it. Love it, love it, love it. I will proudly display it. And folks, that's going to do it for me. So, hey, as usual, don't you go changing.
We'll be back with the Magic Tunes for the Armada Room's 2-hour disco swing party after this short break. Till then, don't you go changing.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.